Today I find myself 981 feet in elevation on a mound overlooking the Great Miami River of southwestern Ohio, the site of the famous Miamisburg Mound, located right behind me. This is an ancient Indian burial mound, also called a tumulus or barrow, burial mound, or kurgan, depending on where in the world you are. These mounds were built all across the middle of North America for many thousands of years. This was built by the Adena culture of Ohio approximately 1000 BC. And at 68 feet tall and over 850 feet around, it has the distinction of being the largest conical mound in the state of Ohio. Unlike some of these similar mounds, you are allowed to climb to the top of this one, thanks to the concrete stairs which have been placed in the side. This is to help prevent erosion to this ancient earthwork and burial site. Let's go up to the top. I bet the view will be amazing. So this mound has been here almost 3,000 years. It was built about 1000 BC. By comparison, that's about the same time that David was king of Israel, the Phoenician alphabet was developed, and the Japanese first discovered how to grow rice. So we are talking a very long time ago. This is truly one of the most ancient things in all of the Americas, and certainly in Ohio. Still only about halfway. The natives used to come up here without the help of the stairs. We do have evidence that although this was built as a burial mound, there's evidence that the natives made fires at the top of this mound, so it may have been used as a signal tower or for some sort of ritual that we do not know about anymore. Possibly they just come up here like we do to enjoy the amazing view from the top. And here we come, right up to the top, where there are some nicely placed benches. From the top, we have an unrestricted 360-degree view. We are looking to the east now, where you can see some of the commercial buildings along Interstate 75 corridor. As we pan to the south here, we are looking in the approximate direction of Cincinnati, which is not far, but just a little too far to see. And over here, we begin the Great Miami River Valley, which is spectacular from this viewpoint. Down here, we're going to look down just a little, is the Cold War Discovery Center, an interactive museum where kids can learn about the fun we had back in the heady days of the Cold War. Might make a video about that. It seems like a really interesting thing, and I don't know much about it, to be honest. The museum, not the Cold War. I don't know a lot about the Cold War either, even though I lived through it. New things are always being discovered. Anyway, we're looking to the west. And back around into the city of Miamisburg and up toward Dayton. Right there in the middle, you can actually see the landfill on the south side of Dayton. And if I zoom in right there, you can see some of the skyscrapers peeking up over the top of the valley edge. Other than taking in the beautiful view, there's not a lot really to do up here. And in fact, not a lot even known about this mound. It has not been fully excavated, which is probably a good thing for a religious and cultural aspect, although they have done ultrasounds inside and determined that the structure was built with a series of dirt and stones placed over bark frames and then covered over again in a mound shape until it reached this height. And heading back down. Seems like it should be easier, but that is not necessarily the case. Still awesome views from here as we leave the mound top and head back into Mound Park. I will say this is a very well kept, well maintained park, and seems to actually get fairly good usage from the surrounding community. Unlike some of the mounds we've seen that have been forlorn and forgotten, this one is definitely loved and appreciated by its community. While I'm standing here at the foot of this awe-inspiring and very ancient prehistoric earthworks, you can't help but think about the people who lived here in ancient Ohio who created mounds such as this giant one behind me. We call them the Adena people because they were first discovered by us Caucasians on what was the Adena plantation near Chillicothe, Ohio. So the Adena people, who were more than likely the ancestors of the Hopewell, did not leave us any written records. What we know about them is things that we have found through excavations of sites such as this. We know they had an extensive trade network because inside these burial mounds are items that include shells from the Gulf of Mexico, copper from Canada, and various other materials, mica and such, which came from hundreds or thousands of miles away from Ohio. So we know there was an extensive trade network going on. Also, these mounds, like their villages, tended to be placed near large navigable rivers, like the Great Miami, which we saw behind us, which itself flows into the Ohio River, which flows into the Mississippi and heads all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Effectively, we are at a sighting on a very ancient trade route, an ancient interstate that ran through the middle of North America 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. We know that the Adena culture arose around 1000 BC, and that they were the first people in this area to domesticate plant foods such as squash and sunflower. Also, they lived in semi-permanent settlements comprised of 2 to 4 cone-shaped bark structures, as I said, always located near streams, since those were the roads and highways of the time. They were also the first people known to make pottery in what is now Ohio. We actually have pots that are as large as 18 inches high and 12 to 14 inches in diameter, which has been found. They have some of those at the Ohio History Center. Super cool, definitely worth checking that out. They also made tools out of bone and flint or chert. Their favorite tool seemed to be the spear. They made a lot of them. There are a lot of spear points. There's definitely always a lot more to learn and a lot more to explore right here in beautiful Ohio. I hope you will join me next time for my next stop to who knows where, somewhere in Ohio, or possibly near Ohio. I do get outside the state every now and again, as avid viewers will know. Anyhow, thank you so much for coming along with me on this really interesting trip today. And if you liked it, please leave a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I am so thankful for all of you who have. I'm very close to 1,000 subscribers at this point and really wanting to hit that big round number milestone. So if you haven't already, please. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time.